Experts have warned that Britain is facing a shoplifting epidemic that is so widespread that many businesses are actually at risk of closing.
Well, that's how bad it is. It's hard to think of a time when shoplifting was as rampant as this. Supermarkets are now placing security tags on food items.
Meanwhile, a poll of UK charities has found that shoplifters have stolen over £15 million of stock.
That's just from charity shops, right? That's just charity shops, nothing else. Are these thefts being taken seriously enough? Joining us for analysis is the consumer journalist Harry Wallop. Harry, you recently spent a day at your local co-op branch, and what's the situation there?
Yeah, I spent a day actually up in Liverpool at a co-op convenience store, which has had 1,000 instances of either shoplifting or their workers being abused in this year alone. And, you know, across the whole retail industry, it's estimated that nearly £1 billion worth of goods have been stolen over the year. So, you know, this is a horrendous level of shoplifting, and there's all sorts of reasons why it's getting so bad. But, you know, one of them is that essentially the crime was downgraded a few years ago, back in 2014. And it's not considered a major offence. Anything less than £200 worth of goods stolen is considered something that should only be dealt with in the magistrate's court, and something that, you know, you'll only get a fine for.
Do you know, is it bigger than this, just a question of thievery? Because there must be a terrible social crisis that is forcing people into this. I know we could either just say it's wrong and you're not allowed to do it, which I totally get. A lot of people will say that. But then part of me looks at what is actually forcing people who wouldn't normally do this to do it, Harry.
Okay, so if you speak to the shopkeepers, and after spending a day in the co-op, I would agree with them. The people who are doing the stealing are not doing it to put food on their own table. They are not desperate people who are hungry. That's just nonsense. However, the cost of living crisis has undoubtedly meant that there is a far larger market for these stolen goods. So the things that are being stolen have a resale value, and they may only be packs of butter or steaks or Mars bars, but they are being stolen in large quantities, and they're not being eaten by the people doing the stealing, but they are then being stolen, you know, they are being sold on down the local pub or a car boot sale. And of course, that market is far larger because of course, people are feeling the pinch, and they are far more likely to say, yes, I will buy those slightly dodgy packs of ham that you're offering me with someone else's logo on. So, I mean, that is, you know, the cost of living crisis is undoubtedly a very large factor.
And Harry, the other angle in all of this is the staff who are having to be confronted with this day in, day out. Just had an email in. This is from Audrey Lear. My daughter is a shop worker in a small Tesco's who are continually targeted. The shelves are literally cleared of certain items, and now they only put out 2 items per product, i.e. coffee, washing powder or anything else they're now known. And the assistant who follows them with body cameras, and then the thieves taunt them by threatening behaviour and telling them not to put their hands on them. I mean, that makes it difficult to have a very, to be honest, modestly paid job in a cost of living crisis. Absolutely essential to have that job.
Isabel, that's
yourself in harm's way.
Very, very true. But I'll also say this about supermarkets, Harry. They've made a rod for their own back. They're the people who want us to do their work now, for instance. So we check out ourselves. We fill our own baskets. We run our goods past the till ourselves. I mean, surely that is just begging for people to commit wrong.
I think there is an element of this that low shop worker numbers means it's easier to steal stuff. But, you know, the store I was in, you can have a security guard. You know, you can have a private security guard at the door. You can have the shop manager with cameras on them, and the thieves will just ignore them, because it has become a consequenceless crime. You know, they know that if they steal, and even if the private security guard were to detain them, as they're entitled to do, and wait for the police to come, in 8 out of 10 times, the police will not come. The police are both too stretched and not actually interested in what they consider to be a minor crime. So, you know, that's the real problem. I mean, undoubtedly, yes, over the last few years, the fact that there are self-checkout tills and there are fewer shop staff on the floor that has bred a culture where shoplifting has become more normalised.
Harry, amazing. And while you were talking, we were watching CCTV footage of basically a guy clearing shelves. It looked like a weekly shop he was putting in the bag there. And obviously, as you say, there is a market for that down the pub or whatever else. It's not simple. It's something, Harry, hopefully we're going to talk to you again later. We're going to get reaction to this in the programme today. Maybe even if someone has stolen, we won't obviously give your identity or whatever, but tell us why, what forced you to do this. Or as Harry is saying, is it just opportunism? Is it just a way to make extra money? Thanks for the moment, Harry. Really appreciate it.